Hi, my dear friends, and welcome to another day in history. Today, we're going to be talking about Amelia Earhart. She was an American aviation pioneer and author. Earhart was the first female aviator to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. She set many other records, wrote best-selling books about her flying experiences. She was born in July the 24th, 1897 in Atchison, Kansas, United States. She was declared disappeared in July the 2nd, 1937 in the Pacific Ocean on her route from New Guinea to Howland, Iceland. Along with her, it was the navigator by the name Fred Noonan. And for her flight, she will use the aircraft model, the 10A Electra. That's what they use, the Electra, and a state-of-the-art aircraft on that time. So there are some facts. There are three different versions regarding her disappearance. But that's what I would like to talk about, interested really and talk about. Something that I would like to mention. I used to live in Guam for several years. And during that time, I get to know people there. The very closest island of Guam is Saipan. Let's say maybe it's like 20 minutes away on a plane, very, very close. So most of the people in Guam, they travel back and forth in Saipan. So when I live there in Guam, I get to meet people. And I get to know people, and people, one of the very first things they told me when I started to live in Guam, I wouldn't even ask, they told me, do you ever know about what happened to Amelia Earhart here in Saipan? Did you know that her plane was stolen? Yeah, her plane was taken to Saipan, and her plane was burned down, and Amelia Earhart, they put her in prison, and then she was shot to death. They told me that. I didn't ask for that, but that's the information. One of the very first things some of the neighbors told me. All right. So more facts about Amelia. Let's say in July the 2nd, 1937, Amelia Earhart and navigator Fred Noonan took off from New Guinea, like I said, in the Electra aircraft, and of the last legs of their round-world flight. So the very first theory they said is this one: the open ocean crash near destination. So the official USA position is that Earhart and Noonan ran out of fuel on the way to Howland, Iceland, and they crashed into the Pacific Ocean. So not too long when they took off from New Guinea going to Howland, Iceland, after a few hours they run out of fuel and they crashed down the ocean. That's one of the first one. They say that the transmission was broken. They could hear what she was talking about, but she couldn't hear them. And then the plan of her going to Howland Island was to refuel. According to the ITAC's radio logs, Earhart indicated she must be near the island but couldn't see it and was running low in gas. The Electra never made it to Howland, Iceland. After through the expedition into the sea, they couldn't find it. Okay, the second theory will be the Niku Morado castaway. This is an island not very, very far from Hawaii. So an international group of historic aircraft tried to gather some evidence there, and also about Fred Noonan. and they could only find something. They found like some shells, some bones that were very near some old campfires, and some of that supposed evidence it was sent to Fiji Island for further investigation. But finally, they couldn't find nothing. It was not a solid evidence, so it came here with the hands empty on that. So the very first one, the situation was, and the crash near destination when they took off from New Guinea. If it happened, the plane they crashed into the ocean. They didn't find any evidence. They couldn't recover any body. They couldn't recover any parts of the plane. So the first and the second, in my opinion, are practically they're not valid at all. So the theory, the number third theory, is the Marshall Island conspiracy. A third theory is that Earhart and Noonan, unable or perhaps not intending to find Howland Island, headed north to the Japanese-controlled Marshall Island, where they were taken hostage by the Japanese, possibly as U.S. spies. So guys, this is what I'm talking about. That's what I think is what could be one of the most solid evidence. By that time, when she was flying over those islands, all that island were possession of the Japanese army. If it happened that an unidentified plane trying to cross where there was during those islands, it happened that the Japanese will intercept any particular plane that don't belong to them. They will try to get in touch with them. If it happened that intercept, they will then, what they will do, it will take them as hostage. For sure, they will take down the plane, or they will find a way to, to make them prisoners by that time. So some believe both pilots were eventually killed, while others believe Earhart and maybe Noonan returned to the United States with another names. They said that's one theory. The last theory would be that they returned to the United States and they changed their identities. In my case, what happened, my personal opinion, I think they were taken as hostage to Saipan. If it happened also, they said, some Icelanders said, I met some, they said, the Electra plane, when she ran out of fuel, she landed in Mealy Atoll, Iceland. One of an island not too far from Marshall. She landed there temporarily in Mealy Atoll. She tried to communicate, but she was intercepted by the Japanese, and when they was intercepted, her and Fred Noonan, along also with the Electra, all of them were taken to Saipan. And the theory said, some people said that the plane was burned down because it wasn't evidence. They burned down the plane in Saipan. And what they did with Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan, they were taken as hostage. They imprisoned them for several years, and after the war was over, when the Japanese lose the war and the United States took over the island of Saipan and Guam, then before they took over, the Japanese took them out from prison, and then they shoot them to death. So guys, that's what I believe it really happened to Amelia Earhart. It's really, I believe it's one of the most solid evidence that they have found so far. So I should stick to theory number 3. Like I said, because I believe Japan was in possession of all that island, most of the island in the Pacific during that time were taken over by the Japanese army. Practically all the island. We're talking about the Philippines, Hawaii, Marshall Island, Guam, Saipan, all those areas were taken by the Japanese. So any unidentified plane that was flying over there, they will consider they were spies, and one way or the other, they will take the plane down and take them as hostages, or imprison them, and eventually maybe kill them. So guys, that's my theory about what happened to Amelia Earhart. Hopefully there will be, I hope somebody will come up with more evidence in the future, but this is one of the most that I believe it have more logic than the other first two. So guys, please thank you for watching, and thank you for allowing me to share this moment in history with you. I'll be seeing you guys soon again for another moment in history. Take care of yourself, and God bless you all. Have a great day. Bye.